job again. It's not as though I had great job skills before I stopped working. I never liked that job, and my boss never liked me. Women can ruminate about anything and everything. We often feel that this is just part of being a woman, that it's a reflection of our caring, nurturing qualities. This may be partly true, but overthinking is also toxic for women. It interferes with our ability and motivation to solve our problems. It drives some friends and family members away. And it can wreck our emotional health. Women are twice as likely as men to become severely depressed or anxious, and our tendency to overthink appears to be one of the reasons why. Trying to overcome overthinking is like trying to escape from quicksand. The first step to freedom is to break the grip of your thoughts so that they don't continue to pull you down further and eventually smother you. The second step is to climb up out of the muck onto higher ground where you can see things more clearly and make good choices about what directions you should go in the future. The third step is to avoid falling into the trap of overthinking once again. At the core of this program is a set of practical strategies for accomplishing each of these steps: breaking the grip, moving to higher ground, and avoiding future traps. My research over the last 20 years has shown that a critical component of healthy living is not to allow our negative emotions to rule our lives and undermine our efforts. When you are sad, your brain has greater access to sad thoughts and memories, and you are more likely to interpret present circumstances in a sad way. When sadness is amplified instead of managed, it can take you down paths to hopelessness, self-hate, and immobility. Similarly, when you are anxious, you see threats very easily, including threats that may not actually exist, such as the threat that you have cancer, or the threat that your spouse will be unfaithful. When you overthink on top of sadness or anxiety or anger, you pay attention to the thoughts created by your mood, taking them very seriously and letting them influence your decisions. The negative beliefs and bad decisions that result can ruin your life, impairing your mental well-being, your physical health, and your ability to function in the everyday world. When we are caught in overthinking, these questions just lead to more questions, what I call the yeast effect. Is it okay for me to be mad? What if I can't confront her? What does she think of me? Just as yeasty bread dough will double in size after it's been kneaded, our negative thoughts expand, grow, and begin to take up all the space around them in our minds. There are 3 primary types of overthinking. First, rant and rave overthinking, which usually centers around some wrong we believe has been done to us. Rants and raves tend to take on an air of wounded self-righteousness and focus on designing a retribution that will severely sting our victimizers. They rejected my application to graduate school. I can't believe this. I'm more qualified than most people. I bet they let in the kids of their alumni, even when their qualifications aren't as good as mine. I'm going to sue those bastards. Second is life of their own overthinking, which begins innocently as we notice we're feeling upset or we ponder a recent event. Then we begin to entertain possible causes for our feelings. Maybe I'm depressed because I have no friends. Or maybe it's because I haven't lost any weight this month. Or maybe it's because of all those things that happened in my past. Maybe it's because my mother keeps making snide remarks to me. Unfortunately, overthinking can cause us to see problems that don't really exist or aren't as big as our thoughts make them out to be. They take on a life of their own. The third is chaotic overthinking. That occurs when we don't move in a straight line from one problem to another. It is as if all kinds of concerns, many of them unrelated, flood our minds all at the same time. I can't cope with the pressure of my job. I'm doing a lousy job and I deserve to be fired. Joe has to go on another business trip next week. He's going on too many business trips, leaving me here with the kids alone. He cares more about his work than he does about his family. But I can't confront